My name is Do Not Obey, and let's get started. Let's get it. What's up, guys? It's me, Do Not Obey, and let's get into a quick video. Now, we're back with Roger, and he's talking about things that are actually found on Mars. Now, let's go ahead and get this over with because I have something on my brain. I have drawn this picture. I don't know if you guys can see it. I know the screen is small, but these are Earths, right? You got Earth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and however long they go on. Now on this, and this is flat. You're looking down on it, okay? Sort of like this behind me. And I put around, like, where would space be located? Where are we? Are we on the 3D because we're 3D dimensional beings? And where did we all come from the center Earth? And do the others know about us? It kind of reminds you of like the Hunger Games where you have these different sectors, okay? Earth sectors. And all of these rings have people in them. All of this functions. Sorry about the light. But anyway, but let's get into this real quick. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Now, why I'm talking about this is because, yes, there was life on Mars, wherever the hell that is, but also there was giant life on Mars, and what we're about to look at is a giant artery or arteries, okay? So let's just look at it.
Okay, my friends, this just came out today. Scientists are more hopeful than ever that Perseverance, the rover up on Mars, may have already found life on Mars. This is 29th of January 2024. I've been reporting about the life that's on Mars since 2015. You see, this is 2015, a crab on Mars. This is Time magazine. Why NASA photo seems to show a monster. Mars Curiosity rover seen up close does appear to some sort of giant crab. Well, I'm going to show you exactly what it is. NASA spots crab-like alien face hugger. You see this literally there was hundreds of things about this.
And I remember seeing this picture, and I think I did a video on it a long time ago because we thought it was like some type of giant spider, but it's not. It's something that connects the arteries together to from or to a giant ass creature. And this stuff was scrubbed along with many other things that are being scrubbed allegedly, but whatever.
Crabzilla in space. Is that a giant crab monster? It goes on and on. There was a ton of them. Crab-shaped rock is just a rock. No, it isn't. Let me show you what it is. All right, this is what they're referring to. This is right down here, and this is the blow-up showing it. That's the crab they're talking about. Well, what is that up above it? And what are all these block-looking things? All these little tiny stripes and blocks like this. Let's see if we can figure this out. This is when it first came out. NASA Curiosity rover may have found fossils on Mars.
They found a lot of other things too, like little bitty. They also found little bitty creatures also walking around. I think I said it before they went to commercial, but whatever. But wherever this place is, okay, wherever this realm is, there's still beings that are really small that they found walking on it.
All right, I'm going to show you something that indicates that crab is biology. These are sarcomeres. They are muscles. They pull together like this, and when they're relaxed, they're like that. These blocks here are gluey little strips. These here in the center, all those little lines, are all connective tissue and a whole bunch of little red stuff inside of it, and that pulls, those tissues pull the connective tissue. Connective tissue is where you have the strength. The other things are real gooey, and they just run right out. And that's exactly what happened on Mars. Here it is once again. You see these here? Those are those sarcomeres. They come in blocks. And then they have all these little strips. And they need a ton of blood, and that's the artery that supplied the blood right there. That's the artery. And right above it is the vein. The vein brings the blood back up to the heart. The artery runs down and squirts all the blood in, and the vein brings it back up to the heart. That is muscle. This dust is that red stuff I showed you running out of this, just dusting off. And there's no rivulets in here. There's no water really to run off up there, rain and so forth. So you just see it as dust. Let me show you something else. Another spot. Don't forget, this is muscle. That's an artery. That's a vein. That is, and they are just as big on Earth. This is gigantic. Just as big on Earth. You see that? That's a muscle
Where this stuff
on
is.
Earth from some gigantic creature. That's all the little red stuff running out of the muscle. This is the connective tissue part of the muscle. And then there was some red stuff, but it doesn't run off like it does up on Mars. This runs off due to erosion. You see it running off here, erosion? It's just watery running the red blood out of there. Up on Mars, it just dusts off. You see that? They call that the Mars Morse code. That is interstitium, probably skin. And these little balls are the anchors, and these straps stretch the skin, and then they return. This is skin.
You know what I just thought of? What if Mars is actually them going to a being? Like, what if they're actually on a huge creature, a big DOA creature? Like, you know what I mean? And this is everything within the structure of the body of the creature. Like if you were to look at a human structure or body, just laid out on the desert, and we were little bitty miniature little people. It just makes you think. I don't know.
In its normal condition. This is skin pinched together, stretched apart, stretched apart. And this is basically sandblasted because up on Mars there is no moisture. So when you get right down to the surface, it looks just like somebody sandblasted it. And these are the stretched straps. And these are the ones that are normally, they're pinched back together. That's pretty much normal-ish skin because it all comes back together. But you got to be able to stretch. You go this way, that way, all over the place. You got to come back together. And here's what it looks like. They just found that this layer, basically, well, they didn't really find just this layer. But here it is on Earth. Look at the size of this stuff. This is what is up on Mars. And that's where those balls are, and those straps stretch, and the rest of the stuff just got eroded away. And here's how big they are in a super microscope. These are little balls. They're everywhere. And here it is on Earth. They call these Amoki marbles. These are identical to the Mars blueberries. I'll show you in a second. Here's how big they get. You see this? This is nothing more than interstitium. That is basically skin. This is a Huntington Cliffs in United Kingdom. And all these balls have eroded out of the wall. And it's just washed in and washed in. And now it's all turned to mud where the fleshy stuff was. And the balls are just too tough to erode, so they just lay down there on the beach.
We're walking on top of, like I said before, DOA creatures and beings. Like we're on top of things that were alive. Okay? Like they're still out there. Where they are, I don't know. But they were alive. And we're going inside these caves, these caverns. We have caverns everywhere. These twisty caves, like intestines, eyes, like the eye of the Sahara, like y'all.
And that's what that is. And that's exactly identical to the Morse code. And once they all erode, and all you're left with is the blueberries, the little balls, they call them the Mars blueberries. And here they found them. There they are right there. That's Mars. This is the basement skin. This is the blueberries, which is the interstitium balls. And above that is the skin. And this allows it to run around all over the place. And with those little straps, they erode away. The balls are just the toughest part, and they don't erode away. All right, this is what happened to Mars. It got hit by Venus, literally impacted Mars. This is all written about. Read Velikovsky. It's no.
What if they were gods once alive and they took each other out? What if Venus was alive and was a being and they fought? And where that thing is laying and orbiting, or where it is what it is now. I mean, I don't know. Like, what if it's a piece of God? What if all these little so-called planets with all this stuff on it were pieces of gods, like where they were? I mean, I don't know. Pieces of Mother Earth, like Mother Earth, Earth, like alive, like something that is alive, like just makes me think, man. I don't know.
There's nothing hidden here. It's just that it's ignored. Look at this. They say there's millions of
The
years
fucking
in one
tendon.
picture. No, it's not. That was a creature's body. When I just showed you what was up
I
on
say
Mars, it's gigantic.
they're like
There was a bone
tendons.
right here, and that ball right there locked it into the bone. Here was a muscle. And how can I make these outrageous statements? Because I have one here. It's not quite that big, but mine is identical. And where is it? Here it is right here. That thing that was sticking up is from here to here, which is tendon, tough as can be. This right here is the muscle. All right, it's pretty mineralized here for a section until it gets out to about here. They have what they call abrupt transition. See it here? There's one. There's the next one. And then out here, it's just all muscle. Flop just falls apart. But here is tendon. See how it's brown? It's not pinkish. There, right there, is the same as the Mars crab, only the little legs have eroded away
Yeah.
because it's on Earth.
The same thing.
But
Just in a
that's where all the
miniature,
blood would
smaller form.
be to service that muscle. And here, you remember that ball I showed you? See that ball right there? See that ball right there? And this from right here like this, and that ball. That locks this in to this bone. This is the same thing as here, only here I didn't have the bone. Here I have the bone. That's that ball right there. That's the ball I showed you. And this is the piece right here that's in the ocean. And the reason that's the only piece sticking up, because the bone erodes, the muscle erodes. You end up with the tendon. And that's the ball. It locks it right into this bone so that it can float a little bit this way and that way and so forth, but it's never going to rip out of there. It's locked in. And that's precisely what you see here. It's no difference whatsoever. There's the ball right there, and there's that main big strap that comes out, and that would have locked it right into a bone. Bones, calcium just washed away in the hot salt water, silicates and so forth. And the muscle, same thing. They're cheap.
I just cannot stress the fact that we have been living on top of all this greatness. A lot of this stuff has always been known, and it makes you think how they built the pyramids. Once again, you can levitate stuff with sound. Yes, you can. People flew back then, and some can still fly now. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Also, it makes you think that if the pyramids were flesh and soft, wouldn't it be easy to climb on top of flesh and start chiseling and pulling out things and pushing and sealing muscles in and removing muscle fat? And then after a while, you have a structure. A lot of things that were built were soft at once. I could imagine just being back then and seeing these giants fall and fall into the earth, and then a year later there's a big mound, but you can still see its legs and stuff, but you can walk up inside that motherfucker. It's a cave. People got homes up in there.
But the tendon, no. And all of these little stripes, little layers, they have nothing to do with erosion and sedimentation. These are tendon straps. This way here, this could lock right into a bone. It has to be able to flex this way and that way. So if it was solid, it wouldn't be able to do that. It has to be able to slide sort of on its, these slide against each other. But this one here, that's the one that locks everything solid. And from here is muscle, from there is bone.
Stuff was alive, man.
All right, keep your eye on this. This is the interstitium, which is this here. It has the
All right, so I'm going to leave it right here. The point that he was making and I wanted to bring to you guys is that this thing right here is an artery. This is an artery. It's something that connected whatever it had to do to keep whatever this was alive and moving, how we have our own arteries and veins. So shout out to Roger. I love him. Y'all need to start looking at his videos more, and I am not planning to go all the way back from the beginning up until now, or start now and go backwards. But I would really start at the beginning and lead yourself up here to now, because if you don't get the concept and understand what this man's been doing for years, you're not going to understand it. And you might jump in and just get it. You might. But respectfully, I would go back from the beginning to catch yourself up here. He just dropped a couple more videos today as I'm doing these videos, and I do want to do one about a leg in the water. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and like I always say, guys, do not obey. Stay woke. Peace.